As Mark said, this is a big, big day for conservative Republicans. We won in 2010 based on our position that we should repeal Obamacare and our concern for big government and debt. But Obamacare and repealing Obamacare was a big reason why we won the House in 2010. It's a big reason why we won in 2014. And it still was yet a big reason why we won the White House in 2016. We owe this to the conservatives around the country who elected us to completely repeal Obamacare. But I think if you're going to completely repeal something, you should replace it. And I've been a physician for over 20 years, and there are problems in healthcare, some that even predate Obamacare, and we are concerned with how to provide the most amount of insurance at the least amount of cost. And that's what our replacement bill does. Congressman Sanford will go into some of the details, but I'll give you three sort of principles that I talk about with it. It's going to legalize the sale of inexpensive insurance. It's going to expand health savings accounts so people can save to buy their insurance. They can use it for their deductible or their premium, for vitamins, weight loss, you name it, exercise. And it also allows individuals to join an association so that they're not left out in the cold by themselves to buy insurance in a small insurance pool. Everybody in the country, the 11 million people in the individual market, will be allowed to join an association, and these associations will give them leverage to get lower price and better insurance. And I think this is a big day for conservatives. Congressman Sanders.
Thank you. It sounds like the centerpiece of your proposal is a tax credit for a tax deduction for individuals, the way employers get. Could you talk to me a little bit about the contrast between that and the refundable tax credit that leadership has talked about? Do you view the latter as a government subsidy? And why do you prefer yours to theirs?
What we have at the centerpiece of ours is expansion of health savings accounts, and there is a tax credit. It's a tax credit against taxes that you pay, though. It's not a refundable credit in the sense that if you didn't pay taxes, you don't get extra money from the government. The problem I have, and everybody can speak for themselves with a new refundable tax credit, is it's essentially a subsidy by another name. So Obamacare had subsidies. If we call them refundable tax credits, have we really done anything other than change the name? So I think that's a problem. Now, on the individual tax side, it's a little more complicated. The individual, it's sometimes tough for them to deduct their health care. So we've equalized the individual with employers, and we did so through it's so complicated I probably can't explain it. We might have to give it to you in writing, but what I would say is it's through a non-refundable or a refundable deduction, if that's possible. So it's a little bit complicated, but the bottom line is our plan doesn't include giving people money back they didn't pay. It includes giving people money back they paid, so they pay less in taxes, which we think is also, most of us are for less taxes and smaller government. We think that's a good thing.
And do you have a mechanism to fund that? Because that's going to cause some revenue.
Yeah, I think government should be smaller, and everyone up here has voted for less spending. I wouldn't balance it with other taxes. So we often say we're going to balance revenue things with, oh, you're having a tax cut, so we need a tax increase and have a balanced revenue neutral tax plan. No, why don't we have a tax cut and a spending cut? And balance them with spending cuts. And I'm guessing that's what the other conservatives would say here too. And just one thing to that, how do people always saying this, okay, I've got a $1,000 tax bill, so I can't take a $5,000 tax credit. You know what I mean? Or I have no tax bill, so I'm working class and don't pay enough in taxes to really do much with the tax credit. The big part of this is, as Congressman Sanford said, is a marketplace. And I'll give you an example. There were two things in ophthalmology not covered by insurance, but the price went down every year: LASIK surgery and contact lenses. Initially, contact lenses might cost you $300. And then at the end, when I was still practicing, you get them for like a couple of dollars a piece. I mean, it's incredibly cheap to buy disposable contact lenses now because of a marketplace. So when you develop health savings accounts, let's say right now 4% of the public has a health savings account. What if 30% of the public had a health savings account? What do you do when you spend your own money? You call up doctors and you ask the price. The average person that gets LASIK surgery calls 4 doctors, and they ask the price of every doctor. Try calling a doctor in America and asking the price of a gallbladder surgery. Nobody knows. It's complicated. The insurance is in between. But if you develop a real marketplace, it will drive prices down. So even though the tax credit may not help everybody, driving prices down will, and you get a real marketplace. And the other thing is if you are a good saver, even of modest income, there are people who will have modest income who save, put it in a health savings account. It will help them, and it also saves them on premiums. premiums. In a real marketplace, the higher deductible you choose, the more like catastrophic you choose, the lower your premium. That's the way the market works. In Obamacare, we gave people $6,000 deductibles and enormous premiums. You got no real discount. They got rid of the entire concept of insurance giving you a discount for being more responsible with your payments. We bring that back into play. So there's enormous market forces, and we believe in the market and everything else that's sold in every store, every other service except for healthcare. Let's get what made America great, which was capitalism and free markets, and put it in healthcare.
Yes.
Senator Paul, you said yesterday that Republicans shouldn't spend too much time investigating the White House because it distracts from this very debate. But you've been able to come up with a pretty specific plan. Why can't Republicans do both?
Well, part of us coming up with our plan, I can thank Congressman Tom Price, because a lot of the bills were his and put forward and have been supported by conservatives throughout, the years. In fact, that's why I think ours is a consensus bill. Ours is a bill that takes some of the things that Republicans almost all agree to. We don't take the controversial stuff. There's disagreement on the Medicaid expansion. There's disagreement on refundable tax credits. So we left that out, and that's going to be addressed in repeal. So I think we can do this and our work. My comments on the investigation are, I don't want a political investigation. If law enforcement thinks there needs to be an investigation based on law enforcement type of facts, they make that decision. But we don't need more political investigation up here.
Last question.